My guest is Clay Aiken, who recently traveled to Afghanistan as a UNICEF ambassador, where he helped launch the $100,000 in 10 days campaign. $100,000 doesn't even seem like all that much, but that really would do a lot.
Well, you know, any little bit helps. The UNICEF office in Afghanistan is one of the, in my opinions, harder working groups that I've seen, and they have a budget in order to help. They want to eradicate polio in Afghanistan as well. It's one of the few countries in the world that has not yet eradicated polio. Want to get kids back to school. They want to train teachers, allow women to be educated, and they have a shortfall when it comes to budget. About $35 million is needed in that country just to get UNICEF through its current year's budget, and so $100,000 doesn't sound like much, but in comparison to what they have now and what they need, every little bit helps, obviously.
And I gather you vaccinated a baby.
I did.
Part of your experience there.
I hope I vaccinated a baby.
From polio.
I hope they went back and double checked after I was done.
Did anybody know who you were? I'm sure some of the American troops recognized you.
You know, interestingly enough, I only saw one American troop the entire time I was there. In Bamyan, in the area that we were in, it was actually one of the more stable areas in the country. There's a provincial reconstruction team there that was mainly manned by troops from New Zealand, and there were one or two American troops there, and I met them. But interestingly enough, not very much troop presence in Kabul that I could see, or in Bamyan. Most of them are located in the east and the south, I think.
So you don't know how to say you should have won, Clay, in Afghan language.
In Dari, no, I don't. I've got yes and thank you down, and that's about it.
We have a slideshow of photos from your trip posted on our website. I see you're wearing a beard in them.
Yeah.
You grow that beard specifically for the trip?
Yeah, I did. I think, and the role as an ambassador, it's really important to me, and I think to UNICEF, to make sure that we're very respectful of the customs and the culture in the country. And so it was more a respect issue.
And were you at all nervous? Because there's good reason to be worried about security, isn't there?
I think so. I mean, to some extent, it's definitely not as safe as going to, say, France or England or maybe safer than some places in the U.S.
Are you talking about in season or out of season?
Maybe. There were definitely points in Kabul where I looked down and said, "Oh, that vest looks a little heavy." But for the most part, we had a very good security advisor with us from the UN and from UNICEF, and I felt quite secure. Again, the people that we met were very warm and very welcoming, and I at no point met any person that made me feel threatened whatsoever. That the Afghan people pride themselves on hospitality. It's part of the Muslim culture as well, to be hospitable, and we found nothing but that.
And I gather also it's just a beautiful country physically.
Unbelievable, and that's another thing that is such a misconception here in the U.S. When I told people that I had come back from Afghanistan, they thought it was very hot, and I was in the desert, and when I show pictures and there's snow-capped mountains, people are really surprised. It's such a beautiful, and Bamyan is such a serene and peaceful place. I joked for a while that I was going to build a summer house there. It's so nice.
So if you want to see some of those pictures, our show page has a link to UNICEF's website, and we also have a slideshow of photos from Clay's trip to Afghanistan. My great thanks to you for being with us today.
Thank you
Clay
very
Aiken, who's just come back from Afghanistan.
Thank you so much for having us.